everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. What a slate we were handed today, my dude. It was lawlessness. It was crazy. We had some insane chalk. Pretty much everybody's getting there for the most part right now, except for Bismack Biyombo, who I'm lighter on, which is nice. Trevor Ariza hit 4 threes. He has 16 points in the first 6 minutes of that game, so I don't even know what's going on anymore. But Bagley starting off strong. I don't know. It's going to be a very, very high-scoring finish tonight. Renpack, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, it was a little scrunched up slate where we had to make quick decisions on the fly. A lot of news coming up right up until tip off. I really had to adjust some things, but there's some super studs in Giannis and Durant who are playing really well, and the low price value guys are start off pretty well. We just got news with Kyle Lowry questionable as we're recording this, so going to be some adjustments as that shorthanded Toronto team continues to pick days on and off of when to sit Lowry and when to play him, and same with Van Vliet. So we'll see what ends up happening with Kyle Lowry specifically against the Clippers.
Yeah, maybe a Clipper will sit too. You never know with these two teams. It was like setting up as the ultimate late night hammer. I wrote the Slate Starter article yesterday about it, and it just didn't really matter as much because of how good the value was on the front end. But Fred Van Vliet looks awfully nice. Pascal Siakam could look awfully nice. But what would also be very nice of you is if you got down to that bottom bar, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That goes a really long way for us. And then hit that notification bell. That goes a really long way for you. So you can know whenever this content is going live, anything at Awesemo, whenever it hits the YouTube streets. We are sponsored today, as we always are, by MonkeyKnifeFight.com. Use promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. Use that to get a $100 first deposit match bonus. That's $100 free dollars. Free 99 is the best 99 in my opinion. It'll help you be able to fire some extra goodies out on all of their prop-based games: NBA, MLB, NHL, MMA, everything that you could possibly ask for. They have multiplier games, so check it out. MonkeyKnifeFight.com. You ready to get going, my dude?
Let's ride.
Let's ride. I'm sure we got some showdowns that need to be attended to here at this point in time, so need to be watching the newswire. But top end of point guard, we got Russell Westbrook. He's underpriced. How many times do I have to say it? $11,000. I don't know. Against Milwaukee, yeah, it's a tougher matchup. This is actually going to be really, really fun to see because Washington's been on a bit of a heater. No, not just a bit of a heater. They've been on a serious heater here of late. Really kind of made a push. If they didn't lose that Dallas game by 1, they would have been rattling off a bunch of wins here. Looking like a good push towards this playoff hunt. Russell Westbrook, 11K, leading the charge. No surprise, we'll like him there. We've got Trae Young, 9,600, sitting down there, going up against Phoenix. Phoenix will be on a back-to-back, which definitely helps. Trae Young has a ceiling, but seems a little expensive on DK still for him. The big news on the top end, we have Damian Lillard. He's probable, so he's going to be good to go. But Malcolm Brogdon, questionable again. We know the trickle-down effect that can have throughout not only his position with TJ McConnell, but on this entire team with the likes of Karis LeVert and Domantas Sabonis, who went nuts the other night. And they get Sacramento. Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, so excuse me, Russell Westbrook.
Good start.
Russell Westbrook coming off of Barbara Walters' 2020 line. I think a career high in rebounds and assists.
You're the best.
I mean, pretty sensational. I was on the good side when he did his 2020 game when he honored Nipsey Hussle. I think that was in 2019, and he's just been on a tear. And these Russell Westbrook slates are getting tough because it's like you play him and you just, or fingers crossed, he gets you to 80, and he's done this so many times over and over again. Now a matchup versus Milwaukee. He had some monster games against Milwaukee earlier in the year as well. So tough not to love Russ. Yet again, it's not. If you want to take a strong stance and fade him, I won't blame you. I think that ownership on a slate of this size will get pretty high. And can we make solid lineups without him? Yeah, you can, but you're going to the opportunity cost of missing out on 80 plus fantasy points. That's a lot of fantasy points I'm missing out on. But let's pivot down on the point guard spot. Dame Lillard, questionable. Trae Young, 9,600 on DraftKings. We get a 3-point bonus for both of them. Solid options, in my opinion. John Morant in a Minnesota matchup. Yeah, it's Minnesota. Morant, it's been tough this year. There was a stretch there. He was playing a little bit better. Now with Jaren Jackson back in the fold, he's been not getting as many shots, struggling from the field. 2 of 14, 3 of 12, 3 of 11. That's 3 out of his 4 games. He's just not shooting the ball. I would like that shot volume to go up for him. Colin Sexton matchup versus Portland. I've said this before. He's continuing to ball hog. I think we can still go to Sexton at the 8,100 price tag over there. Dame Lillard 9,200. He's slowly getting priced appropriately. Still kind of too cheap on FanDuel where we're at the roster too. DeJounte Murray 8,500. I would rather spend $300 extra to Trae Young, even though it's a tougher matchup. I think Trae Young still takes quite a bit more shots in a matchup against Phoenix. We'll see what happens to the Brogdon situation with his hamstring. Chris Paul on a back-to-back versus Atlanta. Chris Paul, the Suns team is just gunning for that 1 seed. They keep rattling off some wins. So Chris Paul, a solid option at 8K. Obviously a little higher than what you've seen in the past. Drew Holiday, it's a back-to-back from Milwaukee. We'll see what Budenholzer does with this Milwaukee team on a back-to-back against Washington. We might get a depleted Milwaukee team, or we might get Milwaukee team sub Giannis where Drew Holiday 7,800 against Washington. I think we can go there for sure. No questions asked. And my daily Ben Simmons bit, 7,200, a matchup versus Houston. I think we can go there. I really think we can play $7,200 for Ben Simmons against Houston. I hope he pays off.
It got very, very quiet. Did you just start whispering?
I'm just upset. I'm just
speak up. Speak up. You want Ben Simmons. You want to run. You need me on that wall.
I'm just so upset with Ben Simmons of late. It's been really tough to see my lineups with Ben Simmons. Hopefully, he turns it around.
All right. This can be a therapy session. That's okay. Tell me how you feel. It's okay. Yesterday, if you want to talk about it, Kyle Lowry, I wasn't listening to you at the beginning of that segment. I got called out as such. I deserved such things. So I'm even scared to just tell you my opinions. Plus, it doesn't really matter. You're the GOAT. But anywho, top end of point guard. Yeah, I think you did a good job of covering everybody up in that direction. I'm listening very intently. We could be looking Sacramento, this exact same situation as you said, DeLon Wright. That going back to them, going down there. RJ Hampton, interesting, 4,500 on DraftKings. Very nice play over there. Coming off back-to-back 40-plus games on FanDuel. Not so much here now that he's up to 5,700. But your interest level there, McConnell obviously could be a great play. Again, he played 31 minutes, got to 39.8. Do you have any idea how to figure out whether or not to roster TJ McConnell or not? I haven't figured it out myself. How do you go about doing that? Do you set up a dartboard or do you flip a coin?
It's going to come down if Brogdon doesn't play. If Brogdon sits, I'll play McConnell. I just think he can find his way to a ton of minutes, and he just finds a way to fill up the stat sheet in different ways. But I think I prefer DeLon Wright to McConnell in a matchup in that same game to against Indiana. We just see how poor Indiana's defense has been without Brogdon, without Turner. I think DeLon Wright could definitely, if he disappoints us today, I think we can go right back to him as they're going to be without Tyrese Halliburton. Super, super cheap guys on a huge slate. Value should open up. Keep in mind, PJ Dozier will not be playing tomorrow. And Austin Rivers played 33 minutes, got to 17 fantasy points in a matchup versus the Lakers, only took 3 shot attempts. Now, in a matchup versus the Knicks, they kind of did him dirty after he had his child. I think Austin Rivers is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. The revenge narrative, full throttle. Sign me up for Austin Rivers.
Did him dirty after he had his child. That's so specific, but it's a fact. That's what happened. So Austin Rivers, I liked him as a pivot off Caruso, even though I played a bunch of Caruso on DK last time. But Austin Rivers is down there, and he is cheap. Top end of shooting guard over on FanDuel. Bradley Beal, 9,100. Just doesn't really, I mean, he got to 45. That's the most he's had in his last 4 games, but that's still not good enough at 9,100. It's still just Russ Westbrook. If you told me Bradley Beal went for 50 plus, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think it's pretty hard in his current iteration with how good Russ has been and the amount of production he's picking up. DeMar DeRozan, 8,900 going up against Utah. That'd be kind of a contrarian spend up at that number. That's a big, hefty number for a guy that I don't know if he's going to get up to those 40 minutes we've been accustomed to of late. Colin Sexton's 8,500 over there, but Karis LeVert, 8,400 against Sacramento. If you get no Malcolm Brogdon tomorrow, just give me all the Karis LeVert and I'll move on. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, I'll start off with that Karis LeVert thing. I love Karis LeVert, $8,400 and $8,800 in DraftKings. Obviously expensive, but if there is no Brogdon, we've seen LeVert have upsides at that price tag. He's going to be very contrarian if Brogdon plays. He's not completely out of play. Obviously, you feel more confident in going to him with no Brogdon. Other guys, like you said, $9,100 Beal. I'm going to say this again. If you're not going to play Russ, I would try to find a way to play Beal. So $9,100 bill. And if you somehow land on both of them, it's not the craziest thing. If you let that price tag on FanDuel where you're at the roster too, is fine. No issues there. 8K Booker, he's playing pretty solid today. Chris Paul is going berserk as Devin Booker's having a solid game
50.
himself. So now we've seen D'Angelo Russell's minutes finally cross over 30 minutes. I like that in a matchup versus Memphis. This Minnesota team is winning games, and they're winning games and playing pretty good team basketball, which they have not done until the point where they probably shouldn't be playing good team basketball, as they've handed their pick to the Warriors at this point. And Buddy Hield, shooting guard eligible. I think if he disappoints us today, 7,700, I think we can go right back to him. I don't mind that price tag, as I've said over and over again. I think he's going to take a lot of shots now. We'll see how he ends up doing. Other guys at that shooting guard spot, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson. They haven't had that explosion game without Clarkson and Conley. So Clarkson 65 without Conley and Mitchell. Clarkson 6,500. I like that quite a bit. And that's like price tag. I think we can be over the field on a matchup versus San Antonio. No issues going there. And it's no one really stands out to spend down. Isaac Okoro is playing a really good game today. I don't think that is sustainable. TD3, someone who I played some of today as well. I think I'll be going back to him again tomorrow. I think Terrence Davis III with that price tag sub 4K on FanDuel. He's checking in at 4,400 on DraftKings. Not as appealing, but there's gonna be minutes sprinkled his way. We'll see how many minutes Luke Walton ends up giving guys like Justin James and Kyle Guy in the second unit, as this team is very depleted, but they're somehow to rattle off some impressive wins of late.
Yep, I think those all sound pretty darn good. I really don't have anything to add here at shooting guard. I'm looking around. We're going to get a bunch of news here. D'Anthony Melton, you could play. Not D'Anthony Melton, excuse me. Don't play him. Play Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is the guy to play. Went for a near 40 spot, ended up optimal the other day. Still pretty darn cheap, so there is that. He's 3,400 coming off of that 42 DraftKings points game. Looking that direction. You didn't bring him up, right? I was listening correctly? Okay, that's good. See, I have to check in now. I'm very paranoid because, I'm sitting back here behind the desk, adjusting volume, doing different stuff too while we're talking, producing. Maybe nobody knows that. Maybe nobody knows that I'm producing the show as we're talking and going along, but that's how seamless we are here at the Slate Starter. It's just no bells and whistles. We're a two-man show. We're getting it done. But we all care about rim packs analysis the most. Let's be dead serious. Moving along to small forward, sitting at the top end over on DraftKings, Bradley Beal, 9,500. You can play him there, shooting guard and small forward eligible. That's kind of the way to go about playing him, and I really don't want to do it anyway. 9,500. Why isn't that price adjusting? And why isn't Russell Westbrook's price adjusting? The world will never know. Jaylen Brown is going to be out with that leg injury that he ended up sustaining against Portland. Basically just collided with Jason Tatum there towards the end of that game. Kind of a freaky incident, but it sounds like Jason Tatum's good to go. Jaylen Brown is not. He's out. So Michael Porter Jr., 8,400, your next small forward. And then DeMar DeRozan, 8,300. That's much more manageable, but still not a ton of interest, even though we did see 2 games ago the kind of ceiling that he can have. San Antonio just on this absolutely road trip that takes forever, 6th consecutive road game, but going up against Utah again, I don't really know. Buddy Hield's up to 7,700. Just thought I'd throw that out there too. Talk to me about the top end of small forward.
Yeah, so Bradley Beal obviously has small forward eligibility. He's always going to be really low owned, and for some reason, if Russ is not the one to get going, it can be him. Michael Porter Jr., 8,400, a matchup versus the Knicks. Porter Jr. Struggled against the Lakers matchup in terms of getting his offensive game going compared to what he's done in past, but he still found a way to 15 shot attempts, not as many rebounds. I like him at that $7,700 FanDuel price tag. I think I prefer him to Anthony Edwards. Chris Middleton, $8,400, always just a solid option in my opinion. DeRozan, 8,300 over there on DK. He's going to find a way to take a ton of shot attempts regardless of the matchup. So that alone is why I always have some interest in DeRozan, because he has that upside to take 20 plus shot attempts. Other guys still taking a look at Tobias Harris matchup versus Houston, $6,800. I think that's pretty. I like that price tag quite a bit for him. Coming off a nice solid game, 10 of 13 from the field, just missed out on a double-double, a game that went to overtime. But a matchup versus Houston, they're not going to slow down Tobias Harris whatsoever. Bogdanovich is now on Utah, $6,800. He's shooting much better from the field, 10 of 17, 12 of 22. 2 of 7 last time from 3, 6 11 last time for 3. I like that he's taking so many shot attempts for this team. He's kind of been the guy who's covering the ground for Clarkson and Ingles. I don't mind $6,800 Bogdanovich. I know people might get a little shy away over there, but you're going to find a way. I believe you can roster Bogdanovich small forward lineup tomorrow, and I'd have no issues there. 7,600, obviously. Bogdan, the one being questionable for Atlanta, but keep that in mind. Buddy Hield, $7,300, 77 DK. As long as these guys are going to be shorthanded, I know people might shy away from that price tag. He has upside, so because he's going to take so many shot attempts at that price tag. Other guys in the small forward spot, no one really stands out to me. Obviously, Dylan Brooks going to play a handful of minutes all the time, mid 30s minutes. He's one of those pure tournament darts, in my opinion. And Kevin Porter Jr. on the other side of things, in that Philly matchup, he might get Ben Simmons' defense. So I'd be a little cautious, but it's KPJ. He showed that defense doesn't matter to him as he lit up Drew Holiday and had some choice words for him in the locker room. So that's a tough choice. That's a fine price tag at $6,900 on FanDuel. Over there on DraftKings, no one. I am currently scrolling down, seeing sub 4K that really stands out to me, barring any injury situation. Mo Harkless will continue to get some minutes, in my opinion. With no Jaylen Brown, we might get more minutes for Aaron Nesmith, a guy who's been playing 20, 30, 31 minutes the last 3 games. So Nesmith has got a lot of coach speak from Brad Stevens. In a matchup versus Orlando, I don't mind going to $3,200 Aaron Nesmith as a sub 4K option on DraftKings.
Did not expect Aaron Nesmith to come. Okay, now I'm listening. I'm engaged today. Here we are. How about this guy, Ignas Brazdeikis from Orlando? Played 32 minutes. He's 4K on FanDuel. Yes.
That's Iggy Brazdeikis. Yeah, he had a very strong freshman season at Michigan, and he chose to leave for the draft because Beeline chose to go to the NBA. Yeah, Brazdeikis, if he stayed in college for another year, he would have been pretty amazing star. I believe he was Big Ten Freshman of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Talented player. I'm obviously biased him going to Michigan, but Iggy Brazdeikis at those minutes, yeah, he's a shooter. Lacks defensive game, but can definitely create a shot. Obviously, on the NBA level, it's been a lot more difficult from him, but he's not terrible. Those minutes are great. He'll take those minutes any day. On a 10-day deal.
Yeah, 31 minutes. He's 4K on FanDuel against Boston. A game like he's on a 10-day contract. Why not? That's kind of the way that I look at it. Like 4K for a guy who's playing low 30s minutes, who generally is known as a shooter. I'll fire it up. I didn't even know the Michigan part of it. I completely forgot. I knew in the back of my head that I thought he went to Michigan, so that's why I thought I'd bring him up for you. But there we go. That's my specialty play of the day. No way that goes wrong tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah, Aaron Nesmith, Iggy Brazdeikis to the top. Let's ride.
Let's go to power forward. On the top end, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11,400 over on FanDuel. Domantas Sabonis, 10,300 on FanDuel. They have no problem inflating prices. Domantas Sabonis is 10,600 on DraftKings. My, how times have started to change. Against Sacramento, just give me all of it anyway. I don't care. Jason Tatum, 10-1. It's a big number, but you have no Jaylen Brown. It's basically him. And Julius Randle, 9,700. I'm going to just throw this out there and say you should probably be looking at paying up at power forward tomorrow. Looks pretty decent. Talk to me about the top end.
Yeah, top end. Giannis on a back-to-back. I'll put an asterisk right now because who knows what Budenholzer and that Bucks training staff is going to do with him. 11-4 over there, 10-9. Obviously, I'm not going to complain if you want to roster him in a matchup versus Washington. Sabonis, 10-3. Obviously, priced up after coming off a monster game. He's just producing. He's on 74 and 75 DraftKings points. He's putting on Russell Westbrook-esque fantasy performances. So does this keep up against Sacramento? I would incline to say no. but he's shown that he's been a monster since he's come back. Jason Tatum, I like pivoting to Tatum. 10-1 on both sides. He's going to have to ride this Boston team. He's not getting any offensive production from guys like Fournier. Kemba Walker is supposed to return, I believe. So that will obviously doesn't help his cause, as Kemba Walker is obviously a very, very solid offensive player. Kelly Olynyk just continues to light it up. How's he going to do against Philly? I love the minutes he's playing. I don't mind Kelly Olynyk, 7,500 on DraftKings. I know I'm even shocked at saying that price tag. I believe Christian Wood is going to return tomorrow over there on FanDuel, price at 9,300. I think that's a lot too expensive for me to match up versus Philly. I think pivoting to guys like Tobias Harris or even John Collins isn't the craziest thing. Marvin Bagley gets his priced up at now $6,500 over there on FanDuel, and he's only $5,400 on DraftKings. So DraftKings is the one snoozing this time with that Bagley price tag. I think Bagley had a strong start in the first quarter. We'll see how he really ends up. But as long as the Sacramento team doesn't have Chimezie Metu, who takes up front court minutes, I think Bagley's definitely a strong option over there on that DraftKings price tag. And other spend down options, Aaron Gordon's going to have a good game at some point. He started off strong the other day, and he didn't close the game, I believe. That's really tough to go there. I think Hachimura is fine at 4,900 in a matchup versus Milwaukee. It's nothing too exciting. Danilo Gallinari coming off a 50-point fantasy game, a little reason why he's showing he's one of the best shooters in the league, when 28-8 from the field. I think I'd shy away at 4,600 in the matchup versus Phoenix. I don't think that's sustainable, especially that he's coming off the bench. And Taj Gibson, $3,700 a matchup versus Denver. He's going to have the task of potentially guarding Nikola Jokic. Taj Gibson only took 5 shot attempts, but found his way to 33.5 fantasy points. Can we go to Taj Gibson again?
Yeah, it's. I expect the ownership to be higher this time around. The main reason that I was so I wrote about him, we talked about him, we said that it was going to be Taj Gibson chalk day, and it wasn't really. He got to 20%, and that was it. And it was like, what am I missing here? There's no way. If you watched that Nerlens Noel ankle sprain, I went back and pulled up NBA.com and watched it because I wanted to see, like, there's no way that he was going to come back and play that next day. Like, it would have been the most ridiculous recovery in the history of sports, right?
I still think Terrell Owens playing in the Super Bowl on a broken leg is pretty remarkable. But
talking to your mic, Terrell Owens,
playing in the Super Bowl was pretty remarkable on that broken leg.
Yeah, he had a broken leg. That was ridiculous. But
he went bananas. I think he went
nuts.
8 for 137. I don't remember the stat line, but it's something ridiculous like that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect 33 fantasy points. I was like, mid-20s at that price tag. And the
still didn't end up optimal, which is insane when you think about it.
Yeah, shout out to Mo Bamba, who we'll talk about in the center spot.
Yeah, we definitely will. I have a theory also that they ended up letting Marvin Bagley, like he played today. I think they let Metu just sit today because they're going to play him a bunch of minutes tomorrow. If they're going to sit Bagley the third, I'm assuming that that's going to be what happens. So that's my theory. So 3,100 Metu, I really do like over on DK. And then we got to bring up the Orlando power forwards there. Brazdeikis again at $3K down there on DraftKings, power forward only. But Mo Wagner, 4,900, played 41 minutes and only got 19.5 DraftKings points. Are we going back to Mo Wagner still under 5K?
That was very disappointing for me, as I had a lineup crack the top 20 with Mo Wagner. And that was the really sour point of last night. As that was the only thing that went wrong in that lineup, Mo Wagner. And I think Royce O'Neal could have played a few more minutes if they didn't blow out the Spurs. Would have been nice for me. But that's Mo Wagner, obviously, at those minutes, we got to like that. How can we not? At that price tag, really tough to avoid that situation on both sides, honestly. 41 minutes is a lot of minutes, 4,900, a matchup versus Boston, who let him go in kind of a blink. So we'll see what that Wagner ownership comes in at. Daniel Gafford in a matchup versus Milwaukee. Man, his minutes are so up and down. The confidence in me, I would rather just, as crazy as it sounds, take my chances on a $4,600 Taj Gibson or a $4,300 Aaron Gordon. All right, Aaron Gordon, they traded for him. This guy needs to play around 30 minutes.
Cover boy.
I know it's maybe he's struggling to fit into the system of late, Uh, I was shocked that they didn't even play him yesterday. Obviously, kind of a tall Lakers team when they're going to Gasol and Davis down the stretch. We saw Jokic and JaMychal Green a lot instead of Aaron Gordon.
It's
So
weird.
yeah, there's going to be a game where Aaron Gordon just pops off. His price is too cheap. He's priced as a scrub at this point. So Aaron Gordon, is he a scrub? No, but no, he's priced like one.
Breaking news: Furkan Korkmaz is out tomorrow. Change everything. Change all the analysis. All right, let's finish this thing out. Over at the center position, also, I have to throw it out there. Power forward. If you want like a super low-owned dude that you need to be playing or taking a look at. No, actually, you know what? We're not even going to say it because it makes me feel too disgusting.
Let's hear it.
Based on who is in or out for Cleveland tomorrow, because I'm assuming on a back-to-back we'll see some of these guys rest. I was going to just throw Kabengele in there. Been pretty good.
You can do a Kabengele?
Kabengele, there we go. Thank you. Played 21 minutes against Washington, 24.75. I'm expecting some resting from Cleveland. Again, these are preemptive guesses that we have over here on the Slate starter as well. Don't hold that against me. Don't roster him if nobody's out for Cleveland. Just don't do it.
We're going to destroy us for Aaron Nesmith, Iggy Brazdeikis, and Mfiondu Kabengele. In the comment section, pick one of your favorite ones out of those three. Yeah, pick your favorite one out of Mfiondu Kabengele, Iggy Brazdeikis, and Aaron Nesmith. The trifecta trio. They're all going to go for 15x tomorrow.
Top end is center. Okay, we're gonna go to FanDuel and screw it. Nikola Jokic, I can't even say Nikola Jokic's name now. Nikola Jokic, 10,900 going up against New York. He's got a GTD next to him, but he'll be fine. He's gonna play. Karl Anthony Towns, $10,000 going up against Memphis. My cheeks hurt. 36 minutes, 54.3 fantasy points over on FanDuel the other day. Joel Embiid's now under 10K. Oh my goodness, up against Houston. Low 30s minutes could still destroy that. Rudy Gobert, we just saw him go nuts. 55.5 in just 29 minutes up against San Antonio. Center is really, really fun. I want to play all the dudes. Kelly Olynyk somehow down to 7,800, even though he played 35 minutes and 48.5 FanDuel points. That could be nifty too. Talk to me about the top end of center.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic, 10-9. We know what Jokic does, and Jokic is going to go up against Taj Gibson. Jokic is this Denver offense. Him and Porter Jr. really. Jokic still was a monster last night. 57.3. Really frustrated with a lot of the referee calls for Denver down the stretch. I don't know if you watched. A lot of questionable calls as Adam Silver dialed into the ref saying, make sure the Lakers win this game. As they got some very favorable calls.
How about that flop by Anthony Davis?
Oh, yeah. Facundo Campazzo is half the size of Anthony Davis.
Undercut him so bad.
It's like Adam Silver was in Secaucus. Be like, hey, this they need to chime in. They didn't go to Secaucus. Usually they go into Secaucus. Maybe Adam Silver was chilling there.
They didn't care. It was Marc Gasol just out there running up and down the court, and then Anthony Davis flopping everywhere like a tuna out of water. Go ahead.
Cat 10K, great pivot, obviously, in a matchup versus Jonas Valanciunas. Valanciunas in that same game. Fine option. Gobert going right back to him in that same matchup against San Antonio. Love it. 24 and 15 with 5 stocks. 5 stocks, obviously, quite high, but it's Gobert. Maybe this game stays closer and he finds a way to mid-30s minutes. Definitely like his upside. Nurkic down to 6,700. Nurkic obviously has shown an upside when given minutes. Obviously, you'd like him to play in the mid-30s, 23, 29, and 26. Not a game north of 30 as we look at this box score. Kind of disappointing. 6,900 on DraftKings, but Nurkic can put up 45 in 28 minutes. He has that upside within him. Rashawn Holmes, 6,500 against a potentially a O'Shea Brissett or Goga Bitadze, I believe, is questionable front court. I don't mind Rashawn Holmes. There might be some rest with Marvin Bagley. Will be interesting. Robert Williams, 5,400 against Orlando. We've seen his minutes only around 24 since returning to this injury. There's a chance he plays more and he could erupt against this Orlando front court. I don't see anyone really slowing things down for him. But that's really about it on that center spot. Mo Bamba deserves another shout out for just playing exceptional fantasy basketball. In 28 minutes, found a way to 44 fantasy points. He has this in his bag. I'm not too shocked. He just wasn't getting the minutes due to injury. Now he's playing more minutes than Wendell Carter Jr. We'll see what ends up happening tomorrow, but I think we can go to Mo Bamba again at that price tag.
Yep, agreed. There's nothing down here on the bottom end that I really want to screw with. Daniel Gafford's about as far down as I would go and even like contemplate it, I think. But that's about it. We are on 5x5 watch for Delon Wright here at the moment. The dude has 5.55, 3 and 2. This could get really, really fun. What an unbelievable performance. We have Chris Paul up to 60 with 7 minutes left in that game. I don't have any Chris Paul, so I'm not going to win anything tonight. But Renpak, can you win anything? And then also any final words for the people?
Well, if Chris Paul is the highest scoring player on the slate, we'll see.
Isaac Okoro is the second highest scoring player on this slate. I just want to throw that out there too. He has 41. I hate basketball.
And Sekou Doumbouya has 35. So
I love basketball. I hate basketball at the same time. This is honestly why DFS is so great, because anything can happen. But also, maybe I should have made the uniques like 4 today in the old Fantasy Cruncher app. That would have been a great idea in the old on fantasycruncher.com. But that's about all we got here for today. Renpak, any plugs as well? Anything that we got going?
Yeah. Go to awesemo.com/giveaways. We're giving away 5 Awesemo Plus monthly classes with for you guys to win. Just very simple to take care of. Go to awesemo.com/giveaways. And that if you win that and start for this week, we'll go into pretty much a lot of exciting sporting events, the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the heart of the MLB season, and a couple golf majors, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure to check that out. And thanks so much for tuning in again. And good luck to everyone.
He's Ryan. He's the GOAT. I'm Eric. I'm more like a sheep. We'll see you guys here on Wednesday. Take it easy.